So hi guys. Thank you very much, Kerri, for joining us today. And it's a pleasure to have you on the Arash stream. Um, just to introduce you, you've just joined Naughty Dog. If I'm not mistaken, it's a associate environment artist. Is that correct?
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
awesome, awesome. And I'll just let you introduce yourself as well. I'm just gonna mute
Mm-hmm.
out so you can sort of introduce yourself, introduce your portfolio. And feel free to stream that now.
Cool, cool. I'm sharing my screen. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Cool, cool. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me for this kind of interview, like talk with everybody and sharing my experiences. Thanks for Mark for doing this. And yeah, hi everybody. I'm Kerri. Right now I'm a associate environment artist at Naughty Dog. I can share a little bit my working experience first. Like before I joined Naughty Dog, I was working at Gunfire Games for almost 5 months, I guess. Yeah, and it was fully remote because um, they are still working on their new games, and the studio is in Texas, Austin. It's quite far away, so most of the employees just do remote. And before I working at Gunfire, I was it was like after graduation. I graduated at May, and to the September, like these few months, I was during a kind of like a unemployment because I was on a freelance job. You know, freelance sometimes you just like have this title on you, but actually don't do much work and got paid. So during that time, I did a lot of freelance like I worked for Clockwork Creation. I also work with what's the name again? A Render Hub. Yeah, I can show you guys my LinkedIn page. Yeah, um, Clockwork Creations. I was making assets for them, and they can sell those props on their website. And I also work with Render Hub to making some 3D tutorial videos. But unfortunately, they have changed their video plans, like changed from long videos to short videos. So the video I made for them is not available right now. I do have the link, but you actually cannot watch that video. Also, before my graduation, after my junior year work, no, study at Renling College of Art and Design, I luckily got an internship at Turn 10 Studio, this one right here. Yeah, I was luckily working on their 20 anniversary track, which is Fujimi Kaido. I made some foliage, like trees, bushes, some leaf textures for them during the internship. It was really good. Yeah, that's almost all of my working experiences since I start um, doing 3D environment art. Um, and I also can share a little bit about my learning time at Renling College. Um, to be honest, not only in Renling, but in most of the college, um, teachers don't really teach much stuff. Most of the time, you have to learn by yourself. So it was really a pain to finish all my project during the college. Like I have to figure out like how to make, uh, like during my first year at Railing, I have no idea about like using Maya. I had no experience of doing 3D stuff, so it was my first time to get into this kind of 3D um, career, these things. Um, I have to always get on YouTube, search for tutorials to figure out how to use all this software, Maya, Painter, ZBrush, all those stuff. And after like a lot of self studying, the thing that I learned most is how to solve the problems by yourself. Like, even though sometimes you can ask your classmates or professors, but classmates are same as you. They have no idea about most of stuff. Same as you, yeah. And the professors, they are not always available. They have a lot of students. They cannot just stick with you to answer your questions. So it was a really hard time to to go through all these 4 years for graduate, and but I really love the result because this kind of studying kind of push me to be responsible for your portfolio and don't depend on too many people. Also, I have a kind of get a strong ability to learn everything by myself. Like, yeah, and that's all about my workings and studyings. Do anyone have any questions about that part?
Hey there. I think we had quite a few questions on the Slido link actually. I could read them out now, but I guess if that's an open question, happy
Yeah.
for anyone to sort of jump in and ask the questions live if you would like to. If you haven't
Yeah,
already put it on Slido.
yeah. Yeah, it's on my screen. I have opened the website. Um, yeah, welcome to jump in any questions if you guys have any more. Like right now, I just like walk through the questions on the website. Let me see.
Definitely feel free
Okay.
to answer everybody else's questions before mine as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just go from top to down. Yeah. Um, Alexis, hello. I love your work. Thank you. Do you think you have to have a good understanding of architecture before creating environments with buildings, or is using reference enough? That's a really good question. Um, I I believe you definitely talking about my thesis project, this Dark Souls game. I would say yes. It will be better if you understand how the architecture works in reality. Like for the references, uh, let me show my reference board. Give me a second. Senior. I think this is the one I got. Yeah, it looks a little bit messy, but um, environment have a three totally different part of workflow. Like when you're making props, that's one workflow. You make a low poly and high poly and bake them together to create a texture. And when you're making architecture, you really have to thinking about making mock-kits. Like it's a giant building. There are so many parts you can repeatedly using them. So you really have to create a mock-kit. For that part, you have to. The first thing I did is I go on Pinterest, search some photos people took from reality to thinking about like how those structure works. Let me find if I have a example. Yeah, like for this one, I really love this reference. It shows the structure really clear. Just for a really easy example, when you got the photo, you can start to analyze what part you need. Like from this photo, uh, we can tell, oh, I need some, arch stuff, and you also need some pillars, uh, and also need some this kind of fence. What do we call it? Uh, and also you can tell, even though they have so many um, complex patterns, but most of them are made based on the brick textures. This is a really good example. After you removing all those decoration elements, the wall itself is just a brick walls, and you can tell so many of these, trims, they kind of sharing the similar texture. It's kind of low resolution, but you got the idea. Like they are using the same um, rock or stone. Yeah, just um, after you get the photos, start analyzing like how the texture made, and how the architecture works. Is there any essential parts to support the building? Um, for a really simple one, like you need a door, and you need windows, also the walls, floor, ceilings. Those are the five really basic elements for architecture. After that, you can see like how they connecting those two together. Like they use the pillars and some really special patterns connect to the upper wall and the ceiling. So it also really good. If after you find some real photos, you can find maybe your favorite movie or your game. Uh, like this one, I find Elden Ring. Just for make some comparison, like you know how reality works, but you understand if you're gonna put all the assets into the game, it's not really gonna work because you cannot spend too many time making each asset uh, look exactly the same as the photo. So you have to go look at the games, like see how they separate each part, and what details they kind of took away, but what details they kept in the architecture. So yeah, that's about just for architecture and the reference part. Um, Beside of architecture, there's also another type of environment is a biome, which includes some dirt, ground, many foliage, trees, and even landscape. They also have a really different workflow. But for collecting references, I also recommend to do some, find some real photos, and then put up some games, like say like uh, how many details they took from the photo, and how many details they just like don't really need that. And next question, as a 2D artist, I'd love to hear how you take an idea from early ideation to finish a 3D environment, and what makes 2D concept most helpful for you? Well, that is a good question too. Like, actually, 2D concept is really important for 3D artists, because when you're actually working at the studio, you are not going to do any concept. You have to look at the concept the studio given to you, and then take this as a references to build up the composition and all the 3D elements. Um, for the 2D, what helped me most is I don't really have to design everything by myself. For example, if you're working at Blizzard for Diablo, they have so many fantasy, designed architecture. If if I didn't give you any concept, you just like make everything in 3D from scratch. It's really hard because you are not only thinking about how to make them out, but also thinking about how to design them. If anyone play Diablo, you know like they have so many special design on each asset. So 2D is mostly for it's like a blueprint, like show everything essential information like how this piece should looks from different angles. Then 3D artist able to like put in Maya and actually made everything in 3D. Um, but during my time when I'm making on my own portfolio, I have to draw the concept by myself. I can show you, like for this one, this piece, uh, those two pieces are my really original design. Because I want to do something a little bit fantasy and dark soul stuff, and also this part I designed by myself. It was also a requirement for from the college. Like we had this assignment for us to you have to design your own concept. You cannot just take a concept from ArtStation and make the 3D. So yeah, luckily I had some experience to draw, so it looks not too bad. But eventually, I still the final piece I still heavily stick on the um, real the architecture in real life because I don't want to figure out all these patterns by myself. It's so panic. Okay, next question. I'm curious, what drew you to environment art, and if there are any exercises you'd recommend for someone who wants to deepen their understanding. Um, cool. Um, how, like, what drew me to environment art? It was a really long time story. Like when I applied for college, I didn't apply for game art. I was applying for computer animation. I was kind of a nerd of anime, so I hope one day I can make some cool animations. So I applied two of my dream school. One is Railing College. The second is Cars. I know Cars is way more focused on 2D, and Railing is more on 3D. Unfortunately, Cars rejected me, and the Railing said the positions was full. Like they let me to choose one major from other majors in Railing, but just not computer animation. I was like, okay, fine. It's okay. Then I choose game art because um, I did dig into their alumni web page and see like if I will be graduate from really what type of like what quality of work I can make. So I figure out, oh, they looks really cool. It's kind of I know it's a little bit challenge for me because I have no experience on 3D, but I can take a shot. I can try that. And luckily, eventually I do love making 3D. It's not that hard as I thought. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And recommend for someone who wants to deepen their understanding exercises. Let me see, exercise. Because when you're creating environments, you have to understand the workflow, like which comes first. Um, so like for each part, if if you want to practice just in Maya, just for modeling, it will be better for you to try out different type of assets like organic assets and hard surface assets, and just try like search on your table, for example. um, I have this box. They have all the details on it, and try and model this stuff like make it looks exactly same as this one. This is a good way to practice it just for modeling in Maya. And in ZBrush, I would recommend to do some characters, uh, because wait, character is kind of different workflow. If you are just working on environments, maybe sculpting some rocks, woods, try to find more brushes online, because those brushes can save ton of your time just for creating some different textures. Like when I sculpting rocks, I do have some you know alpha mask. Some height map can easily make some details. And the key for practicing, you have to focus on the thumbnails, like the silhouette of the object, because every time people see something in at somewhere, their first um, intention, like the first thing they have noticed is the shape of this object. If you have practiced this and kind of good at show a object really quick, maybe in 1 or 2 minutes modeling, it will be good. Yeah. It sounds like when you practice in figure drawing, like 1 minute, like 30 seconds, sketch. It's probably the same stuff. You have to learn like how to capture the shape real quick, especially if one day you need to like work on a really big project and you don't have much time on it. You have to do this kind of practice to make sure you capture the shape really quick. Yeah. Oh, and other part, except all those software using uh when you're making environments, like compositions, lightings are also also really important. For the compositions, I recommend everyone just maybe took 1 or 2 sessions about the concept art, because environment concept art, it was basically like training your art eyes, like training your eyes to know what makes what type of compositions and lightings make this environment looking great. And after that, when you get into like just doing the set dress and layout, it will be really helpful. There's more knowledge instead of the concept. Like you have to know the story of this scene. Like if in a workshop, what props will or you will see in a workshop, and what kind of random stuff um, will like putting together. Yeah. And the next question, and any advice on where to look and whom to speak to for transitioning into the gaming industry on the business side, given my non-gaming background? Okay. I'm not really sure what business side you're uh, actually talking about. Uh, I would recommend you start searching people on LinkedIn, because um, during my college time, I also like push myself to expand my circle. Like for example, in college, I only know my classmates and my teachers. I have to know more people from industry. So I usually like pull up my I can share my LinkedIn. What I usually do every day is just oh, it's a little bit stuck. Scrolling on LinkedIn page and see what interesting and what any awesome people posting stuff on the LinkedIn, and I go connect them, and go like just message them like hey, I really like your work. If you have time, can you like do a portfolio review for me? So for the similar stuff, like no matter what area you are aiming to work on, just go on LinkedIn and type the keyword you want to search and start finding like maybe just two-person. You start talking with them, asking them question like, oh, how those business working on the game, type of this question, and you will like start figuring out what you need to do.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. If you just want to like maybe you are not learning anything about game, but now you are start learning game, just go play games. It's a really good start. Just go play it and see how game works. And then same idea, go on LinkedIn, search. If you want to do art, just do game art sort of stuff. If you want to do QA, just for like a game QA, um, yeah, similar way. And
Sure.
next,
Do you mind if I just expand on that question for a second? Is that okay?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Sorry, Kerri. Thank you very much. I guess it was
Mhm.
just more. I'm an avid gamer, but like unlike
Mhm.
like the rest of the panel here that's here, I'm not involved in coding or design. Like I'm
Mhm.
very much excited about like bringing all of the concepts to market, or being able to
Mhm.
connect other companies together to create like a really great game. So very much like working more on like the operation side. But I've never
Oh.
actually also have spoken to anyone in the gaming industry either. So um,
Mm.
I guess that's a really good advice to just sort of just force myself to reach out to more people
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. I guess maybe was
Mhm.
looking for if there was any specific like I guess like concepts or lingo or material that is just like everyone should know this if you want to be a part of this industry. Like you should have this like in your tool belt. I guess something like
Mhm.
that was more or less my question. Apologies for the
Oh.
being a little vague there.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for explaining. Okay, so for everybody, no matter what part like you're working, just for game, um, I recommend you to learn more about other areas. It sounds a little bit abstract, but here's an example. I'm doing environment art, but I also need to learn how level design, game design, VFX, all this stuff works. Because when you like working on some part, they kind of relate to other professions too. So especially you're going to like collaborate each other, like go make an awesome game together. It's really important to know what each person are working at. I have a little bit experience like that. Like when I'm making my um, thesis project, even though I'm just making arts, but somehow I want this game to be great. So um, I kind of work with a tech art game designer too. Like I do understand when I'm making this level, what should I do just for you know make the game design better. Like what's the requirement from game design. So especially when you go on, organize stuff like at a higher level, you have to organize everything. Just go have a little touch about everything. You have to figure out like how things working together. Especially if one day you want to be a lead, it's really important to be a bridge between um, each professionals. Like for example, if environment art and designer have a different idea, you have to stand between them and tell them what is the most important right now. Like what change we can make to make both people, like both category happy. Yeah. Um,
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No problem. Next question. Uh, What would be your best advice for applying jobs in games? What about writing CVs? For applying in games, actually, I only know the part that I do, like just environment art. Like each different roles are maybe a little bit different. If you are doing the coding, they probably will have a test, or during the interview, they want to like give you a task. You just code this for me. It's everything's just different between the roles. Like just like for me, it usually goes to um when you apply in this, you have to submit your portfolio and resume, and also um, cover letter. Sometimes it doesn't really need you to record a video for introducing yourself. You can just do a cover letter. Yeah, that's good enough. What is the best advice? I would say get to know the people from the studio you want to apply for. Especially for this year's, it's really hard to get a job into big industry. And this year's are so many talented, fresh people, like just just like me, just graduated from college, and I have some friends graduated with me too, and we all super talented. Just thinking about what makes you more stand out from them. So you have to know, maybe get a friend from the studio you want to apply for. They probably can help you a little bit to, when you apply for a job, there's a ton of people applying at the same time. um, Recruiters need to take a really long time to go through everybody's portfolio and resume, and in reality is they won't go through everyone. So when you apply it, you be better to be the first 20% of people apply that. For example, if this rule have already 300 people applying, recruiter probably just will like go through the first 100 people, and then the rest of 200 application you'll have to finger cross, or maybe if yeah, at this point, if you know somebody working at this studio, they will just take your resume and portfolio, just directly show their lead. That's how. Yeah, it sounds like a referral, but yeah, just know more people in the industry. It will help a lot. um Next, how did you start all in games? What made you decide to, yeah, as I talked before, I didn't apply for game arts at the beginning. It's just I want to try that. I thought it's challenge. I thought it's fun. So I started working on that. But before I really decided to be an environment art specifically, I was a concept artist too. I love doing characters, and I love also drawing, environment art. I'm the type of person love to challenge myself. I find out somehow like environment is way, like just for me is way more challenge, and 3D is something I never learned, but I thought it's cool, so I just go give it a try. Um, what made me decide to go into the industry? Well, at the beginning, I want to get into a big industry. Actually, I'm during the college. I'm a really competitive person. I love to compete with everyone I know, and I want to learn like how to be somebody I saw on the LinkedIn, like successful like them. So, yeah, for my own for the people like me, get into a big industry is kind of our essential goal during the career. So we just push ourselves to work on that, make us get hired. Oh yeah, and also it includes a lot of passions. If you don't love this doing arts, doing 3D modeling, you won't actually go far from that. The key is you have to really enjoy what you are doing right now. And a part of my goal for my career is I have to get a job that I like. I don't want to like during my high school. I'm not sure everybody know that, but most of Asian people, their family will push us to, oh, be a dentist, be a lawyer. But what the truth is, hi Kitty. Well, the truth is, if I'm pushing myself working on something I don't like, I don't like physics, I don't like chemistry, all this stuff. I won't like stay long on this profession, and it's also not helpful for your mental health. It will be really pain, but right now I'm doing something I love, even though there are some a challengeable task coming on my side. I still happy to take it because I feel, oh, this is something I love. If it's really challenge after I go through this, like after I made it, which means I have improved my skills on what I'm working on. That feels really good. Yeah. Um, do you recommend Blender? I would say for working at industry, go use Maya. Yeah. Most of the industry are using Maya. Even some of the, uh, well, I would just say use Maya. Yeah, but it will not hurt if you know how to use Blender. Yeah. And let me go through all the students' questions. There's more. Any advice on where to look and whom to speak to for transitioning? Oh, I have already did that before. Let me refresh a little bit. The page is always refreshing and not really sure which comes first. Okay, let me just go start answering the
All
question.
the rest of the
What
questions are from
game
me,
or
by the
event
way.
inspired you to become a video game associated? Yeah, this part I think I have answered already. For which person, I probably will thank for the really alumni. Like they did a really awesome work. So this kind of like inspired me. I want to be somebody like them. So I choose the game art major. If you could work on any game environment, for any game such as passion. Well, I personally, my favorite game is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. If I can make some stuff for them, it will be awesome. And also, I personally really like a pixel game. I do currently using Unity and try make some, pixel characters and pixel environments by my own, but it's just a hobby. It looks fun. Yeah. What comments? Um, Inspirations. Actually, all those comics, films, anime, Pinterest, are really related to environment art. But for me, I would just always go on Pinterest and dig through art stations, see what other awesome concept artists do, and maybe do the similar stuff. A film is a really good one because um, they have some really interesting compositions and lighting just for telling the story. The different thing is in the film, uh, they always have a character. Like character will always be the um, focal point. But for environment art, we don't have characters. Just the whole thing. So, um, yep, I would say almost of this are really relative to creating art and always go through Pinterest and ArtStation were helpful. And what were the top three things that you did to make your portfolio stand out? Well, one thing is have a main shot. Like for my let me see. For my castle, um, every portfolio piece you're showing, always put the most strong piece at the beginning. Like for this one, I just put my main shot of this castle as the first one. I didn't even put the folio on the first one because I know I uploaded on Vimeo and it won't automatically playing the video. You have to really click the start button, and some recruiters, they don't have time to go through all your videos. Like, wow, it's 1 minute long. I still have hundreds of applicants waiting for me to view their stuff. So always put your strongest piece at the first, uh, get their attention. And the second key is breakdown. Uh, Something like this, you have to let recruiter know that you know how to create the environment and your workflow really fits their pipeline too. Just show everything clear. Like when you do in the breakdown, especially for something like workflow and blueprints, try to make a small presentation about it. Make it looks like a tutorial. Make sure the people looking at your breakdown, they can learn from you. Like imagine somebody don't know how to make this. After viewing your stuff, they kind of learn from you. That will be really good. Most industry people love to hire somebody can actually teaching people, because like when you are working, the thing is we have to help each other. So you have to act like you are willing to help each other, make people grow at the same time. Yeah. Uh, oh, and three things. The third thing I would say go ask some people from industry, from LinkedIn, get from feedback. They will let you know like what you need to fix, what else is better to add some explanation on your portfolio. Yeah. And next, did did you attend any industry events that? Oh yeah, I went to JDC 2 times. Um, it didn't really directly help me to get a job from JDC, but it did help me to know more people from know the people in from industry in person. Sometimes they are really popular on LinkedIn. They know a lot of students just online, but if you get a chance to meet them in person, it will be help a lot, and they will give you really honest feedback on your portfolio, and they probably do some referral to you if just in case they have the role is open, like they are actually hiring people. If they are not hiring, they cannot do much help, but just get a chance to meet in person and let them remember you. So one day if you are applying their studio, they might, oh, I talked with this person, like I love this person's work. mm, and what matters most to you as a professional artist in terms of your workflow technique and daily professionalism? I believe the I did answer some of them from previous questions. Um, it's like for me, I would like to when I start learning, I would like to directly learn from people already get hired from the industry. Like just look at their portfolio, how they show their works. Then I will do the same. And how is their quality of work? I will push myself to achieve the similar quality. I kind of love to punish myself if I make this thing not, I make a prop, it looks not like what I want, what I expected it, how good it is. So I will like kind of delete this and redo or keep polish on this stuff. The rest you like to share is, per, uh, mm, I think I have already given a lot tips. Just talk with people, always practicing, and push your bar higher. Even though you are just start doing stuff, you don't know anything about 3D. You can just give the bar when the bar is higher, it will push you, make your work have a better quality. Yeah.
Well, I think that concludes all the questions, I believe. And I
Yep.
just wanted to say a massive, massive thank you so much for coming on again, Kerri Zhang. And
Yep.
again, like if there's any other places other than what we've shown, like on LinkedIn or ArtStation, or where else can we sort of find your work? Is it just LinkedIn, ArtStation, anywhere else like a YouTube channel or anything like that you want to shout out today?
I do use Instagram, but most of the time it's just for personal use. So I think LinkedIn, YouTube, Art Station are already good for me. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. We'll
Yeah.
definitely put those links up for you to connect, and hopefully you're happy for everybody to sort of reach out to you
Yeah.
and connect with you, and hopefully hire you someday if you know if you want to move from Naughty Dog, you know, if you ever wanted to move from them. But I'm sure that you're very happy there. And again, can everyone say a big thank you to Kerri for jumping on? We really appreciate you doing that.
No problem. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I love to help out people. Like if they are confused, if any of you have more questions, welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah, or Discord. Discord is fine now. You can actually asking questions through Discord right now. So yeah, well, welcome to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on and enjoy the rest of your weekend as well. Um,
Thank
awesome.
you. You too.